Hello, everybody. It's Saturday night. It's been a beautiful day, sunny, not too hot. Just relaxing a little bit before going to bed. We have bunny rabbits out here that come out at night to kind of graze in the grass. And there is a little bunny rabbit directly in front of me, just sitting in the grass. I think he's eating the dandelion leaves. Well, actually right now he's listening to what I'm saying. So I know at least one creature is listening. I saw a story last night, and I almost went ahead and recorded something last night. I was so set aback by this story. I couldn't believe it, and I was a little upset. I thought, well, it'd probably be better to sleep on that at night and not be upset before I decided to record something. I don't know if you've heard, but the Oregon legislature passed a law regarding abortion, requiring all insurers in the state to not only cover abortion, but to pay for it 100%, so that people having an abortion can have one for free. That's right. The state of Oregon is legislating free abortions. Free abortions. It hasn't gone to the governor's desk yet for signature, but she's already expressed her enthusiasm for this bill. The thing that was kind of striking, so for those that don't know, Oregon has some of the most liberal abortion laws in the country. If you are pregnant with a son, and you decide, no, I'd rather have a daughter instead, or vice versa, you can have an abortion just because you don't like the sex of the child. Wow. So that's how liberal their laws already are. So you wouldn't think you could get any worse than that. But now the state of Oregon has decided to provide free abortions. And actually they're not free, because Planned Parenthood, who was involved in the authoring of this legislation, big surprise, they're not giving free abortions. They still get paid, but they're going to get paid by the insurance companies or by the state. So it's very profitable for them, because they've had trouble in the state of Oregon, because abortions are actually down in the state of Oregon, because fewer people want to murder their children in the state of Oregon, apparently, and it has caused them to have to close some of their facilities. So anyone who thinks that abortion isn't about money, in addition to being demonic, well, all you have to do is look at how this legislation was put together. And so it's interesting, because you see this decline in abortion, and certainly in people favoring abortion, because the old canard about, well, we don't know if it's really a child, it's just a piece of tissue, well, that's gone out the window with science. Genetics, DNA. An unborn child has different DNA than her mother or father. So in our legal system, DNA is how you identify a unique individual. So this whole canard, as though anyone thought that a pregnant woman is giving birth to a goat or is just growing an extra liver or something, was ever anything plausible. But any excuse to give people cover. NPR had a story about something related to Planned Parenthood and the videos that were out not long ago, and it's interesting the way they refer to preborn children as fetal tissue when they were talking about Planned Parenthood selling body parts, because you can't really say I'm selling the body parts of dead children. So they use abstractions like aborted fetal tissue. So it's a ghoulish thing, and as if it isn't horrific enough, the state of Oregon wants to make sure that people can get it for free. They can murder their children for free. The interesting thing about that is something the governor said. She said she wanted to make sure that low-income people, young people, and people of color could be certain to get their abortions. So given the history of Planned Parenthood, with its founder, Margaret Sanger, who believed in eugenics, was a proponent of eugenics, that only certain people should be allowed to breed. You should have to get a government permit to have children, and people who weren't qualified in her mind because they were genetically inferior, they shouldn't be allowed to breed. So yeah, she was not a fan of brown-skinned people. So it's not a surprise that the majority of Planned Parenthood clinics are in neighborhoods with a majority minority population. So it's interesting because the same politicians and activists that push this issue as freedom of choice are the same ones who would deny choice to parents who want to educate their children in something other than the public schools. So they're against school choice, but they're in favor of the choice to murder your children. And they particularly want to make sure that people of color can have the option to kill their children. This is so blatantly racist. And the history of Planned Parenthood and the history of Margaret Sanger is incredibly racist. And how people are not screaming about this is beyond me. And so if you want to kill your children, politicians and activists will enthusiastically work for your freedom to kill your children. If you don't want to kill your children and instead you want to educate them, these very same politicians and activists will fight to keep you from sending your children to the best schools. They will keep your child trapped in an underperforming school. They'll be sure to indoctrinate them with all sorts of sexual perversion and other things, but they won't actually give them an education that will help them get a job or have a career. So that's the punishment for not killing your children, is that these same people will keep them down. It's extraordinary. Planned Parenthood has certainly killed more brown-skinned people than the Ku Klux Klan. But can you imagine someone advocating for the Klan or trying to give them government money? The last 2 years, the Congress of the United States has authorized $1 billion for Planned Parenthood. And everybody knows which political party has been in charge of Congress the last couple of years. So it crosses both sides of the aisle. Planned Parenthood said they'd go out of business without this money. So that means if this money would have been cut off, the largest child killers in the country wouldn't be able to operate. But instead, lots of people are making sure they do. It's obscene and disgusting, and now you can kill your children for free, which is extraordinary, because you need to pay money for a license to shoot a deer or catch a fish, but you don't have to pay anything to kill a child. That's the country we live in. That's the society we live in. It's only by God's grace that it isn't raining down fire and brimstone at this very moment. You had this sort of thing with the children of Israel when they went into Canaan. Those that worshipped Moloch and other gods in the area, they would sacrifice their children to their gods. And even in Jeremiah, when God's talking about, just kind of, when the children of Israel were going to be taken out of their land for what they've done, in Jeremiah 19:5, God talks about how bad it got there, that the children of Israel started to incorporate these same sort of things. And so Jeremiah 19:5, they have built also the high places of Baal to burn their sons with fire for burnt offerings unto Baal, which I commanded not, nor spake it, neither came it into my mind. And so back then it was people killing their children for their false gods. Today people kill their children for their favorite god, the god of self. I don't want another human being to interfere with my plans for my life. Their existence is an inconvenience to me, so I am just going to eliminate their life. That is what people do. That is the thought process. Whether someone's going to verbalize it like that or not, that's what it is. They're sacrificing another human being on the altar of convenience to the god of themselves, because they don't want to take responsibility for what they've done, and they don't want to stop doing those very same things. It's extraordinary. It's extraordinary how things have gotten. People read these things in the Old Testament and they go, oh, it was just terrible. But in this country, children are murdered by the millions. And it's a business, a profitable one. And politicians and famous people and people, I guess, with nothing better to do, spend time pushing for this. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Just yet another sign of how bad things have gotten. This is the whole, boil the frog slowly type of thing. And sometimes it takes something like this for us to lift up our heads and go, whoa, you know what? This place is getting really bad. This is why I've been talking so much, and will continue to talk even more about Christians in particular not having anything to do with this wicked culture, because there is a worldview that is constantly being perpetuated, and it is from a society that is not only anti-God, not only anti-life, it's downright demonic, and it's without natural affection. And what is more unnatural than than a parent wanting to kill their child and then trying to get it for free on top of that? Wow. So, yeah. So it's funny that we in this country, sometimes look down our noses at other civilizations and think about how barbaric they are or backwards they are. We do some pretty nasty things, but just because we're able to industrialize it and incorporate it and do it faster and more efficiently and make money doing it, doesn't mean that it's any less barbaric. Anyway, that was calmer than I thought it would be. Pray for people. I think God's judgment is on this country. I think he has abandoned this country, but he's still giving individuals chances. And so pray for individuals. Pray for people you know. Try to take every opportunity to share the gospel with people. Encourage other Christians to do the right thing and to stay away from all these evil things. Don't get sucked into it. Don't get too close, because it may look innocent, but then there's a bait and switch. This culture will get you to like certain parts of it, and then as soon as you do just a little bit, they'll throw something evil into that thing you like. And then before you know it, you're going along with it. Anyway, probably enough for tonight. The bunny's still here, so I didn't chase him away. So he's going to go eat some grass, and I'm going to go to bed soon. Take care, everybody. Good night.